We're building a self-sustaining ecosystem inside of our off-grid greenhouse, and today we're adding fish, plants, and the first breath of life to this pond. It's the start of something wild, beautiful, and totally alive. Here's what the pond is looking like, all filled up. In the summertime, hopefully it's absorbing a lot of that radiation coming in. That's why it's painted black. Little waterfall feature right here. Built a little shelf, and that way it's getting a little bit of aeration. The next critical step for the pond is to get aquatic plants to cover it. Otherwise, this is going to be easily growing algae, and we don't want that. So the next step, getting water plants and fish to go in here to help create a nutrient-dense environment so we can use this water to water the plants inside the greenhouse. It's a 2,000-gallon pond constructed of 22-gauge steel panels and a heavy-duty pond liner. We filled it with clean well water. There is a solar-powered waterfall currently, but we're probably going to add more filters and fountains as we go. Fortunately, we had somebody local who gave us some pond lettuce, which floats on top. And I've got a few more plants on order. We definitely need to add fish to get it more biologically balanced, but we are going slowly to avoid shock to both the plants and the fish. Today, I'm getting some goldfish and koi for the pond. They are beginner-friendly fish, but they also are great for ponds like this because they tolerate colder temperatures well. They can help eat the algae, and they will grow bigger over time. And the koi could even get up to 2 feet long or even more. So kind of exciting. First step is to introduce a little bit of the pond water to the fish so they can get acclimated to the chemistry. So I'm going to add about a cup of water into the bag so they can kind of get used to this pond. In this bag, I have 6 goldfish. And in this bag, I have 2 koi and 2 specialty goldfish. So again, I'm going to introduce about a cup of water into their environment before I release them into the pond. And then we'll let them free. So you might be wondering, why have a big, huge pond inside a greenhouse? Isn't it taking up a lot of room? Well, this is true, but the pond actually has a huge benefit to the greenhouse. The number one benefit is temperature control. So it is a huge thermal mass. It can absorb the heat of the day and store it, and it can also release some of that heat at night. The same thing goes for cold days and hot days. So this will be really important for winter time. So the fish have been in their bags for definitely an hour, so I feel like they're pretty ready to get released. And the reason that I went with goldfish and koi is that they're pretty hardy. They're pretty easy for beginners. They're cold tolerant. And I don't want to release all of the aquarium water in there with all of the waste products and stuff. So I'm just gonna see if I can scoop them out easily by hand. There goes one. Here's one of the koi. It's a butterfly koi. You can tell by its long fins. Now koi can get up to 2 to 3 feet long. So say for a 2,000-gallon pond, only 4 to 5 koi. All right. Oh, I can see them at the bottom of the pond. That's cool. There they go. They got a lot of room to explore. Hopefully the fish make themselves at home pretty soon, and I can't wait to see their reaction when I add even more pond plants. I hope they love it. Well, there's one more thing I wanted to do to make this pond come to life. There is a purpose for the pond being painted black. That's to attract that thermal radiation. But I think a little colorful illustration isn't going to hurt things. So I'm thinking about designing just a few wildflowers around the outside. It is a steel material that's been painted black, but I think a little bit of pastels and oil paints might go on pretty easily. And because it's waxy and oil-based, it's not going to wash off so easily when things get wet inside. All right, well, the flowers definitely add a pop of color, and apparently I was so immersed in my artwork, I never even heard the mailman come, and so the rest of my pond plants have arrived. Whew, kind of smells like a pond. This is one that kind of looks like pond scum. It's called duckweed. and it will double its biomass in like 24 to 48 hours. So this is going to make a really good pond cover. This should definitely work really fast. Wow, look at all this stuff. This is amazing. So yep, this is definitely kind of has that pond scum look to it, but it's going to work really quick to help get some coverage, help reduce the algae. All right, so this is the second package. And hopefully they will come back to life a little bit after being in a plastic baggie for so long. Let's see if we can figure out which one is which. Now I know, so this is frog bait. It kind of looks like little mini lily pads, and they just sort of float on the top. Very cute. I definitely like these. I hope they multiply a lot. The pond is definitely looking more biodiverse after adding all those plants. Look how much more coverage there is on the surface of the pond. But the fish definitely seem more comfortable with the coverage. They're acting excited. They're more brave. They're more on the surface, kind of checking things out. Again, I got a variety of different plants to help with shade, help with algae control, and for nutrients. So they're going to help uptake the waste of the fish and act as a natural filtration system as well. This is just the very beginning for the pond. We actually have several more steps we're going to add, including another filtration system and some water fountains in the center. But the big thing for the pond is that we're going to be building an above pond deck for hanging out, a seating area. We might even have an opening in the middle, have a pond, like a fountain going through the middle of the floor. So that's going to be something towards the end of the summer into the fall. That's going to be a big project, but that'll help get some of our usable space back in the greenhouse. So yeah, if you want to get in on that action, definitely follow along to see how that turns out. And I'm curious to see how the duckweed does. In a couple of days, I heard it really increases quickly. So we might have a full green layer on here. And we'll see how the fish like the plants. They're just getting used to it. Absolutely a big day in the dome, a big day for artwork in the morning, and a big day for plants. And get some pops of color in the pond in addition to my hanging baskets, which I got yesterday. And the next project is adding the garden beds. So once those get in, then I can start planning and really getting this dome transformed into a garden oasis. We'll see you next time.